Good morning internet, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining us. I've been helping a guy with this Honda Civic, I think it's an EG. It has a K20A Civic Type R motor in it. It's going to be pretty rowdy. It gave me some inspiration. I was looking and I saw that Honda in 2017 did the fastest lap around one of the most difficult tracks in the world, the Nurburgring, the Nordschleife. They did some ridiculous time and I thought, well, let's do some more front-wheel drive content. Let's do a lap review of that Honda Civic and what it takes for the driver to be able to do that kind of time and extract that time out of a super fast front-wheel drive car around one of the most challenging tracks in the world. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alright, so it is the very top video. It's in 2017, so not exactly the newest Honda Civic Type R. I'm sure they're busy with it. But 2017 model, and we're going to jump straight into the lap. So this is not at all my footage, this is Honda's footage. You can see on their YouTube channel. I'm watching it on YouTube, the 2017 video. Let's jump into it. Quite a bit of commitment through this first section, just really basic stuff. You can see his a lot of hand movement in the car. This is a production car. You can see the hand movement quite quick on the wheel. It looks the movement looks like he's trying to stabilize the car on entry. You can see the driver is always looking, he must have some sort of data logging device in the passenger seat. You see that movement on the wheel. Looking down again. It's obviously all flat through here. Very fast section, so it's very confident driver, keeps looking at the data logger. Getting on the brakes, you have to downshift here. It's a very fast section. It's a pity we can't see the circuit too much. Look how the car's moving around on the brakes. So that tells me something. When Honda decided to do this track test, apparently they use a road-going production car, the same as what you can buy. Now, there's a lot of ways to improve on the production car. Obviously, you're going to be looking at whatever tires they're going to be using. Hopefully, they're using a production tire that the car will be sold with. But also, the driver might wanted to loosen up the rear. Maybe he was complaining about a bit of push on the front end. And you can see how nervous the car is coming in the braking zones. And you can see him doing this. And basically, by him moving the wheel like this, he's trying to get the car lined up for the corner and stabilized or to a position. But because in a front wheel drive, and you can watch the front wheel drive driving techniques video, I'll link it up below. When you get on the brakes in a front wheel drive, the load transfers to the front. The front end is under high load and the rear is really loose. And because the engine and gearbox is in the front, the car will naturally be quite loose on the rear. So any inputs, big inputs on the brakes will make the car move in quite a big, it'll translate to large inputs in the car. And that's why you see the driver shuffling like this. It is most likely also the case that they loosened the rear up, so they might be running slightly higher pressure at the back, tire pressure, to get the car to turn mid-corner. And that's what I'm seeing on the wheel. You can hear him. This car does have a limited slip diff. Good shifts, solid shifts. Don't like his hand positioning on the wheel. Again, look at the shuffle. He's a very committed driver. He's not using a lot of the inside curb. Maybe he doesn't want to unsettle the car too much. Flat 3 here, you have to get the car lined up as a fast left-hander, and then a braking zone, probably down to second. No, stays in third. Not the third gear. Look at the shuffle on the way in. Very tentative. Here the understeer means he's really pushing. You see how he's getting the car lined up to the edge of the circuit on the entry. Really focusing on placing the car on entry. Okay, here is an important thing to note. High speed braking and turning. Trying to get the car lined up. So it's a tricky one. Here you see him coming into the corner, turning and braking at the same time. Very, very difficult to do. Let's just go back to that. So you see him brake down to 30s. So the important thing to note here is not going hard on the brakes and the low transitions, because then if he turns, the car is very likely to get very, very sideways. And obviously, if you go sliding sideways, you're going to hit the barrier, and the lap's finished, the car's finished, Honda's dreams are done. So really what you need to do is be very, very careful on how you approach the corner, especially high speed. So you might have to back off, so brake a little earlier and lighter while trying to turn the car, because he's going from the left hand side, has to go through a corner, get to the right hand side of the circuit over here where you see my mouse is, brake and then turn. So let's just watch it again. So it's a very important thing. High speed turning and braking, it's a very difficult thing. So in a front wheel drive, you'll have to brake slightly earlier and carry the speed, not apply massive brakes into the corner. Slows the car down, turns off. A lot of understeer, but that's perfect. Just go through it again. Brakes, you can see he's on and off the brake. Brakes and comes off. So it does the initial braking when the car's still going straight, brakes hard, comes off, then turns the car, down the gear, maybe brakes a bit more, coming into the tighter corner, goes through, brakes a bit more, and then turns. Now obviously that is a very difficult corner to get right in a front wheel drive. He's definitely a very good driver, knows the circuit very well. Very good through there. A lot of patience here. You need to try and carry a bit of speed onto the straight. Not quite at the Kemmel straight. I don't know the names of the corners, apologies. This is pretty much flat from what I remember. That part was straightforward. The car is very good on the front end. You can apply the power in a fast corner. This is all flat, so you can apply the power through a fast corner with the limited slip diff, and it doesn't really push too much on the front. Oh, that's committed. Woo-hoo. That is committed. You can see his reaction there. Look. Now maybe that was a sign of, oh, that it's a good sector, or oh, I need to improve on the next sector to try and make up time. I might have lost a tenth or two. Look at him looking at the data logger always. I hope that records. Okay, desktop recording. Camera recording. So we're going to try and pick it up where I left off. Unfortunately I had load shedding, so I'm running on my batteries now, and so let's try and get this done before we run out of battery, if we do. So we're going to pick up where we left off. So pretty much flat through here is looking at the data logger. There we go. You see, I don't know if he's up or down. Could be up though. Looking very committed through here. Down on the brakes, again the shuffle on the wheel, trying to get the car lined up. Very committed again. Here's quite a slow section, got to get the car turned, braked. Down to third gear, you can hear that box crunching, that means they've been pushing this car. Hear the understeer, but he manages to, he knows the line. What you're hearing is him pushing the car to the absolute limit here through the corrugation section, I forget what you call it. It's important to get a good exit out there, just over that bump. Don't like his hand placements. I would have liked a 3 and a 9. But he looks very comfortable in the car. There's definitely room for improvement, but it's so difficult. Like when I say that, I take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, this is obviously a professional driver. It's such a long lap to get every single corner absolutely perfect. Very good through there. Use the inside curb. This is also quite a tricky section. This is a tight left hand, tightish. You've got to carry a lot of speed and line the car up for this section. I'm surprised they didn't go down to third. Difficult corner. Uses a lot of the exit. Very good. Down to third here. It's tight exit on this one. Good, good, good. Back down to third. You can hear the tires screaming, but he's pushing the car. It's not overdriving. It also looks quite relaxed. Over the bump, settle the car, turn it in. He knows where the grip is. Whoa, the car got a bit unsettled there. You see there, he changes up to 5th. And the car unsettles because he was turning when he did it. Whoa, that's a very hairy section. Oh, it's a lot of commitment. You saw how the car shifts to 6th, and he turns. Wow, sorry, he turns, but the car moves. He's freaking flying at that point. Let's just look there. As he shifts, look at the speed. 200 k's an hour. So it's 210 k's an hour when the car gets a bit loose. Down to 5th. Again, look at the shuffle on the wheel when he's trying to line it up. Some tight sections. Ooh. Good. Get it settled through the second, whatever you call it. Looks quite comfortable. Don't like the hand placement. Up into 5th. That is interesting. So this is a fast section getting onto the Camel Straight. I think it's the Camel Straight down the back. And what he does is he short shifts to 5th, so he doesn't have to shift through the corner, and he can just feed it all the way through that last corner and maximize the speed onto the back straight, because if you don't get a good run on the back straight, you're going to lose the speed all the way down. So let's just watch it again. Into 5th. Maximize the speed. He uses all of the exit. Looks down to check his sector speed, sector time. Up into 6th. 220 k's an hour. He's looking quite relaxed. You can see him. I don't like the hand placement, but he seems comfortable, so that's fine. Looking at the sectors, or he's looking at something, getting the car lined up. 270 through there. Oh, look how, woo, look how loose the car is on the brakes. fifth, fourth, third, get the thing stopped. Massive understeer. So this is a bit of a tricky one. Okay, now what could have happened is the tires could have cooled down all the way down the back straight, and that's a problem because you think you can carry more speed than you actually can because the tires have cooled down. Because look at his turn-in point over here. The trajectory looks okay. Possibly there's a little bit of rumble left in front of him, but it doesn't mean that he can use it because it depends where the rubber is and the grip is. So gets it lined up. You can see he's trying to get the car over. He's still doing 130 k's an hour. So he gets the car over, he turns it in, but it's just, look at the angle of the wheel. It's already cranked over, and I would have liked to have seen the car sitting a bit more in this kind of angle so you can use that rumble. But it's okay, there's nothing wrong. Uses it there and he gets the time 7:43.8. So that was an interesting lap. There were a lot of little things that were quite key for me, that were very, very interesting. One was the shuffle on the wheel, getting the car lined up on entry. It's a common thing. I remember driving in my old Polo. Many times that was the trick, is always trying to get the car set up for the entry and then maximize your entry. It was always a trick, and you had to be very, very confident in the car that it doesn't do anything unpredictable, because inevitably whenever you start chasing time, you loosen the grip up on the rear, or you increase grip on the front, which inevitably reduces grip on the rear. The other thing for me was the commitment of the driver. So even though like his hand placement was a bit awkward, he's probably a GT driver, used to driving different kind of cars, but his hand placement was a bit awkward, but he was still very, very comfortable in the car. So it's very interesting for me, the approach that he takes. And some of the very high speed stuff, he still looks very confident, which tells me that the car is very, very stable at high speed. And he's really pushing it to be able to extract the time. He obviously knows the circuit very well, and there are little things here and there. He could have taken the line a bit tighter and possibly gained a tenth here and there, but when you're doing a lap this long, and I've been doing a lot of laps on the sim around Nurburgring, it is virtually impossible to get a absolutely perfect qualifying lap, especially when you've booked the track, Honda's there, you've got the car, you've got limited time, you've got limited tires most likely, or run time, you change, there's so many variables. And this we'll deal with in a future episode, where we talk about all of the elements that need to be in place for you to do an absolutely perfect lap, and for you to actually win a race or compete for the top 3. It's mind-boggling how many of the elements have to be in place and the stars have to align. But anyway, I hope you liked that review. We've got some awesome front-wheel drive driving content coming up. I will try to plan it a bit better with the load shedding, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. I really want to do some more of this kind of content. So if you like it, please let me know in the comments below. If you've got any inputs, something I missed, something we can talk about, let me know. If there's something you'd like to see, let's have a review of it. Maybe we want to look at a rear-wheel drive content, four-wheel drive, or Pikes Peak, or something like that. Tsukuba is also a good one. Spa, some very cool stuff. Bathurst. Oof. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.